Hi, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight is a chill night, and I did this at 3 in the morning, where I just decided that I was going to record me working on my fall picture of Ectaea. I did this originally back in November, I think. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this drawing, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about what happened literally today. And you guys are just going to think that my life is complete insanity. This drawing was something that I wanted to finish, and I have another video where I'm at the Cuyahoga National Park, and you guys can go check that video at the end of this one. But I decided that at like 2 in the morning that I was gonna start working on this and see if I could finish it, because there's parts of it that I felt like I had not done yet, especially since this was going to be my first full illustration using these markers. Like, I've done little ones, but I've never done like a full spread. Now, the original video was like 40 minutes long, and I had to cut it because I spent so much time going back and forth with colors and pausing and being nervous that it just took forever. Now, let me tell you about what happened today. You guys are going to be like, this is freaking insane. So I woke up today and I took my husband out, and when we were out getting breakfast, I came home afterwards and my internet was down, and I don't know why. And I ended up finding out that my internet service had been completely disconnected voluntarily. They said that I did it, but I didn't do that. And I had to call them and tell them what happened. And it was really insane because it looked like somebody had come up to Spectrum, which is an internet service provider, and then told them that they had residency at my place, and then they filled the order and disconnected me. So I didn't have internet service. And the only way for me to get internet service back was to go up to Spectrum and tell them that and bring my lease. So when I was on my way to bring my lease, I got rear-ended on the same day, by the way. All this happened on the same day. I got rear-ended in the back, and I have to go get my bumper and my chair fixed in my car because they're damaged now, which is, by the way, completely crazy. And after I got all that, I came home and I rewarded myself with Starbucks. So, as you can see, I'm having a very insane day on a Saturday morning because I originally did this drawing in the middle of the night, and I was like trying to use a lot of different tools because I was like, I don't watch enough people draw because like on this, because I was thinking maybe I should just figure it out on my own. But I also have like so many like I have this white pen, and that pen is now dried up and I can't even find it now because I don't know what happened. I just lose my stuff. And I also wanted like even applications, because when I see applications with other people, they seem to be so perfect, and I am far from perfect. But I wanted actually this to be close to an ASMR video, but it was impossible. I couldn't do it. It just was not going to happen for me. Now, I feel like I've talked about Ectaea before, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the story that I'm going to be writing for my anthology. Now, she comes from a time in Esalen where the Order brand had basically broken up. And because it broken up, that meant that there's no order anywhere. So she lives in like a very chaotic world, and she's alone. But in the story, she's going to have an Aedalus, which is like a protector. And it's going to kind of be like, how can I describe it? Like, you know those couples that are like enemies to lovers? It's almost enemies to lovers, but not just yet. They're like, she hates him and he doesn't hate her. And she doesn't want him to be around, but he is like, no, I need to be around to help you. And she's like, no, I don't need your help. I can do this all by myself. So that's kind of the vibe that I was going for. I did have the idea that what I wanted to do in part of the story was the moon whisper flower, which is the official name that I decided to go with. The moon whisper flower is going to actually have been revived in this part of the story. And I thought it would be something has happened and she is seeing it for the first time and she's only heard of it. She's never seen it for herself because it's supposed to be post-apocalyptic fantasy. And I know that's like such a crazy idea to have because I've only seen like a few post-apocalyptic fantasies and they're different. They're different. I saw like one that had like dinosaurs, I think, in it. So I'll be honest here, when it comes to also this part of the drawing where I'm like doing the scarf, I feel like I need to do more reference hunting because sometimes I'm so close to being like where I feel like I've almost gotten it and then I look up a reference and find out that my references are wrong. And because what I like to do when I do art is I've always been this way. I love to find one good reference or maybe two good references. And then for the rest of the time, I like to play with my imagination with things like clothing and hairstyles and colors and all that stuff. I feel like very, like I'm trying to come up with something offhanded that's just in my mind. Because a lot of my illustrations, like, so I don't have a photographic memory, but I have a very good visual memory. And I can remember stuff and I see things clearly in my mind, but I can't put them down. Now, okay, I got really wild in the middle of the night and I thought, you know what, this is going to be a good time to test out these watercolors. And I don't know why I thought that this would be the night to watch them. So I'm going to swatch Sassafras. I know it's like really hard to read, but these are the watercolor confections. I saw Gretz Luckia, an artist that I really like. She uses them. That's why I originally bought them in the first place. So I thought that I would be doing watercolor more often because, to be honest, I've always wanted to do watercolors. And I've always just like, oh my God, like my ADHD does not let me start a task. And then randomly it just lets me start a task. And this was the night where I decided, you know what? Why don't I just pull out the watercolors and just start using them? Because what I wanted to do was like in the upper left-hand corner of the artwork, there is supposed to be like fall leaves or a fall tree in the back. And I thought, I'm just going to try it. So I went, I even actually have that little cup there. That is actually a special cup only for my watercolors. And I have never swatched before. So I figured I'm going to copy how Gretz Lucky does it because she seems to know what she's doing more than me. And I was really surprised to find that watercolor is, you know, it feels like it's more in control. And I did watch one tutorial about like, it was like wet on wet and like dry on wet. There's like a few different versions of how to paint watercolor where you can like take more wet and more dry to make texture. I'll be honest, I didn't really understand the video, but I knew that there was 3 different ways to do watercolor and I was going to attempt to use them so that I could finish this drawing. I still have not finished this drawing to this day. So it is still a work in progress because I don't know about anyone else, but I get afraid when I get too close to finishing an artwork. It's kind of like when I get close to finishing a video game. I do this a lot. When I get close to finishing something, I get very like nervous that all of a sudden I'm going to do something that it's either going to make me not going to like it, I'm going to mess it up permanently, or it's not going to be good enough in my eyes and then I won't have anybody to show any of this to, and it'll just be like embarrassing, like, because I wanted to actually post this on my Instagram and I also wanted to get like washi tape to add to it, like to add a nice little border for it, but I just used a ruler instead because that's what I did. So the idea was I could probably do a little bit of light painting, and everyone said that go as light as possible and then darken it up as you go, and don't have a lot of like don't have a lot of water on your brushes, because you can always add more paint and you can always add more water, but if you start with like a lot of softness, you can build up. And I was like, okay, well then I'll build up. But now I don't know how to do the tree. Like, how am I supposed to add leaves? And I figured I'll probably have to like draw them in or like make them look like there's leaves there. I don't know. I definitely need to work in my art book some more, and I definitely need to work in this art book some more. I haven't finished one yet. I'm getting really weird about starting stuff. Like, I have a whole nother video that I did and I stopped because somebody suggested I draw on the back of something that had been bled through, and that was really difficult for me because I'm not used to doing that. I've never done it, and it was really hard for me to look, and then I just started working on it as usual in the middle of the night like a crazy person, and I ended up finishing it in like 40 minutes, but I have a feeling when I cut it down it'll be more like maybe 20 minutes. Anyway, so with Ectaea, even though I drew her antlers looking really cool, I feel like for the lore of the character, I feel like the monoliths should, like, okay, so when I first made the monoliths, I had the monoliths have all the same like hair gradient and all the same antlers. But then I thought, I feel like there should be more to that than them all looking the same. I feel like they should keep the antlers and they should definitely have the hair gradient, but do they all have to be the same? Do they all have to have the light purple? Because on some of the other ones, I'm sure you can see in some of my other artworks, they're light purple, and I'm like, I felt it like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. But now that I'm like trying to make my characters different and also making sure that they have different color palettes and they look hopefully like different characters, because I feel like they look a little bit too similar to each other, especially when you take their silhouettes. So my idea was like, Ectaea's antlers are supposed to be more broken. That's why you can kind of see on the left hand side, there's one that's a little bit chipped. Hers are supposed to be thinner than the rest because she's like not in tune with her mana and her like life purpose, and she's had her antlers broken so many times that I feel like they should be thinner, and I thought that would be a great way to fix her silhouette. But I am so bad at drawing antlers. Every time I draw antlers, I just want to draw elk antlers, and I'm bad at drawing elk antlers, so then I go look up white-tailed deer antlers, and those are always perfect. But then I have to think about the character, and I'm like, okay, if you had antlers on your head, could you sleep? How would you sleep? And then I made an amulet that would allow them to sleep normally, because it would make the antlers disappear, but only for that time. And a lot of people were like, well, what happens to the antlers? Do they just disappear? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, you can't do that. I'm like, well, it's my world. I can, right? Like, there's some things that can just be explained by you wear the amulet, the thing disappears while you're wearing it, right? Because my magic system is more of a hard magic system than a soft magic system. Well, you know, sometimes I feel like it leans a little bit on both ends, because I have lore, and the lore is very soft, and then the stuff that you see that's every day is more like a hard thing. So I was kind of thinking that I would have both, so I can still have stuff that's unexplainable and it just works for the world. But for this, I'll be honest with you, like when I was doing this, at first I thought, you know what, this looks really good, but then I was like, yo, this is like so yellow. I'm gonna have to do like multiple passes, because as you can see, like the tree branch is a little bit too dark, and I was trying to be like whimsical, but like I never, oh my god, I like never, some of the stuff that I draw, I'm just drawing because it's in my imagination. I know people are like, I can only draw from imagination. Well, good for you. I am so happy for you that you just have that great visual memory that you can just do That is not me. I'm telling you right now, that's not me. And when I was doing this in the middle of the night, I was like, oh my god, this looks great. And then as I got to this part, I started getting nervous. Like, you guys didn't hear it, but the original audio has me so nervous that I actually couldn't use the audio at all. That's why I'm re-recording it now, because I was so nervous and up on the art that I was like I was like anxiety breathing through the whole thing. Like, I'm sure you guys can tell that I'm a little bit anxious when I record. I've always been anxious when I record. I try to not be that way because I know that people come and watch me because I'm very straight, but also I'm like not performative because I have no idea how to have performance. I just don't know how to do that, because this is definitely really stressful for me to record. I don't know why. I've been doing videos for almost 2 years now, and you would think with all of the experience that I have doing this that I would have eventually learned how to become like an amazing talker, but that's just really not in the cards for me, I guess. I guess I'm just gonna have to figure it out on my own as I just keep going through making videos. Hopefully, when I've made 1,000 videos, I feel like maybe I'll be confident to speak into the microphone without feeling like I'm going to like implode or whatever. But anyway, so back to the drawing, I decided that I was probably going to try to add some green because, okay, so see, like, well, maybe you saw it, but over on the right hand side there is a open space, because what I wanted to do is I wanted to have like a really bright light on her, like the sun is just shining down on her. And because that thing is green, I thought, well, you know, maybe if I put a watercolor green on it, maybe it won't be so prominent. So, but the thing is I had to swatch those greens because let me tell you, the colors are accurate for those watercolor confection things, but I guess because I don't know enough about watercolors, I feel like I just need to learn more, that you really have to swatch these and then make like a dark to light, because by the time that they dry, it's really more accurate to what you see there off on the little plate over to the left. And at the same time, I'm not really sure like how many layers it would take to do that, but I think I'm almost done for the night doing this. I hope you guys liked the VHS look that I tried to have while doing this. It was really fun for me to put that together for you guys and play in DaVinci Resolve a little bit, because I'm trying to remove myself from the Adobe suite and getting used to DaVinci Resolve. I can only really do those with the traditional artworks because I want to see the color grading, and I cannot do color grading on Premiere because it is way too much, way too complicated. It's just way too much. So if you guys really like these videos and you guys want to see more of them, please comment below about what you thought about today. And I guess if you don't know what to comment a bluebird or a bird in general. But I do have a VGen where I take commissions. I do line art flats for about $12. I also do a world building critique. If you guys are interested in those things, I go over like one part of your world and I'll give you a rundown. I also do that for characters. I do that for magic systems. I can do that for the geography of your world if you'd like me to. I do it for maps as well. You can feel free to go there. The link will be below. Now, I also have a Patreon where if you guys want to support this channel or my other channel, which is Friendly Neighborhood Artist, you can feel free to sign up there. I talk about my stories with the highest tier. I give you guys links to my short stories if you guys want to read them. I also post sketches. I have a blog for the $2 tier. The $1 tier gets to see my full res artwork, and among other things, there's loads of stuff that I am trying to move people so you guys can see the stuff that I don't normally post on social media. I also do post freebies there. I'm also going to put my brush set on there if you guys are interested in that. I still got to work on what it will look like, but it's going to be coming in the next few weeks. And I'm also going to be coming out with a sticker for my channels. I do have a lot of surprises in store for you guys. This channel is more of my show my creative juices. I'm going to do some more world building so you guys can help yourselves with all of the information I can give you. I was thinking about doing another special project on this channel. I don't know how it's going to work out, but it's going to be slow and in the works because it's a bigger video. So I guess look forward to that whenever it comes. I also wanted to say thanks to all my patrons that are on my Patreon. I don't know what I would do because I've never had anyone like pay me for anything other than my YouTube paying me out because I'm a carny on the internet. And if you don't know what a carny on the internet is, or a carny in general, just look it up. That is like kind of the definition of me, a little bit. And as you can see, I really made a mess of my desk area because this spot is very, very small. I don't know if you guys know that, but the space is very small. And I really didn't think about what I was going to do when I brought out all of this shit. Because I was thinking, I'm going to paint. No, I'm going to use watercolor. No, I'm going to go back to my markers. I am just, when it comes to like doing this, I am a hot mess. I cannot even imagine taking this to a place outdoors and letting people look at me make this hot mess in person. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching me do whatever this is right now, because what I'm trying to do is I'm actually trying to find a marker that is dark enough to shadow like the little darker parts. I already found it, but I put the marker away and I lost it. So I don't know where I put it. And it's somewhere because, coloring traditionally it's easier and harder because you need like so many fucking markers and so many different colors and paints to do everything that it feels like a monumental task. And the thing is when I was doing traditional art, I never went beyond using watercolor pencils and just normal pencils and like charcoal. I never did more than that. I didn't even like get one of those fancy erasers that lets you like erase. I have one now, but I'm positive that I'm going to keep getting better with time if I just keep doing it. So if that's your thing and you guys want to come with me on this journey, feel free to follow me, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.